Hi everyone, so today is a super exciting video, at least for me, because we are talking about the Sephora sale for spring. So I'm sharing all of my favorite things from each category that Sephora carries and just sharing all my favorites. And by no means am I saying that you need to purchase every single one of these products or even one if you don't want to. These are just my favorites, the things that I have loved. And I just figured I would share them with you for those of you that are also wanting to purchase some things. So let's get into it. For skincare, let's talk about some of my favorites. So one of my favorite skincare brands at Sephora that I've used for a very long time is Kiehl's. I'm also on their PR list, so they've sent me a few things that I've been able to try that I haven't tried before. One thing that I really loved was their hyaluronic acid. I'm not sure where I put it, but I just wanted to mention that. It's a great hyaluronic acid. They also have niacinamide. That's also a great option for pores and things like that if you're wanting to minimize them. Also, they have one with glycolic acid. My two favorite products are the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream, which I personally can't use on myself. It's just a little too rich for my combination oily skin. But my husband loves it, and I used to use it on all my makeup clients because it's just such a good moisturizing moisturizer. It's just a really nice one. I also love their creamy avocado eye treatment. This is just so hydrating and you need the littlest amount. So the way to apply this, because it can feel really thick when you first use it, is to take a grain of rice amount and then massage it between your ring fingers to warm it up, and you'll feel the texture change. It kind of turns into a watery texture, and then pat on your under eye and you're good to go. Another great eye cream if you want one with vitamin C is the Henricksen Banana Bright Eye Cream. I love this one. I think this is the second eye cream I've purchased from them. This one is fantastic. It also has this cool, like, yellowy, orangey kind of color to it. Most under eyes are like a bluish or purpley hue, and since this is kind of like a banana yellow, it is going to help with correcting that. So I love this eye cream as well. I use both of them. Kiehl's one at night and this one in the daytime. Another product that is kind of skincare, but it's from Henricksen, is the Pout Preserve Peptide Lip Treatment. I put this on last night when I felt like there were just so many like cracks on my lips. I felt like they were just so chapped. And I put this on and it just helped all of those cracks and like the dry skin just go away. It was just so moisturizing. So I love this at night. I love it in the morning, and it gives the most beautiful sheen. It is really shiny like a lip gloss, but you're treating your lips and they're getting super moisturized in the process. So this one is so good, and it also smells like an orange dreamsicle. So I love this stuff. Next, we're gonna move on to hair care. So hair care is something that I've gotten into recently that I haven't always been into. And one of the brands that I have just fallen in love with is Kerastase. This one specifically, I have purchased other shampoos from them as well, which was the Nutritive line, which specializes in hydration. So I recommend getting the shampoo and conditioner combo that is fit for your hair. This one is for strengthening the hair, so if you have like damaged hair or split ends, this combo is so good. So they actually have a set right now. So usually each of these is $40 each. So this is $80, which is pricey, but I love this stuff, and I do think your hair is worth investing in, at least for me. Like, that is something I'm always gonna invest in, is my hair. But they have a set with these two, except I think the shampoo is different. It's still from this line, it's just not this exact one that I'm holding, but it is for $69. So that one is in my car, and I'm going to purchase it when the sale goes live. So the next product I didn't bring in with me. I have it, it's in my bathroom, but I already carried everything in here and I don't have to go back. But it's the IGK LA Blonde Purple Toning Leave-In Treatment. So I love this stuff because it tones your hair, it protects your hair from heat. I think it also hydrates. So I like this because it's not as drying as my purple shampoos. I love this spray because it helps maintain the coolness of the blonde. So if you don't like to have any brassiness in your hair and you're a blonde, or you don't like how drying your purple shampoo is, that is an amazing product and I love it so much. Moving on to one of my favorite things to talk about, which is fragrance. So one of the things I will be purchasing is the Sol de Janeiro Cheirosa 68 fragrance. This one just smells so good to me. It's been described as smelling like cotton candy and fruit snacks. I feel like it's not quite that juvenile. I feel like it smells, I don't know, it smells like a really nice body spray. It has notes of lychee, which I've been obsessed with lychee lately. Like right here, this is the Voluspa candle that I have back on my tray back here. I just love the smell of it. If there are any lychee perfumes that you love, comment them down below, but I am picking that one up partially because lychee is a note in it, and I've loved how it smells when I go in, and it's also a pretty cheap fragrance. Also, those candles are definitely worth it. I love them. Next up, so these are some really pricey fragrances, but I did want to note that if you like these, Sephora carries small travel sizes that are, it depends on the line. I think they're about $50 if it's a really expensive brand, and I think Tom Ford's are $80. But you can get travel size sprays, so if you do really like the scent but you don't want to splurge on an entire bottle, those are great options. So two of the pricier fragrances that I love and adore are these two right here. So this first one is Angel Share, which my husband got me for Valentine's Day. This one smells so good. It's been described as a boozy apple pie. I feel like it's so much more complex than that though. It smells like you are in a really nice like speakeasy, and it just smells expensive. Like there's a little bit of apple in there, but it keeps it fresh and like keeps it from smelling too smoky or boozy. It's just amazing. I love this one. The next one is Tom Ford Bitter Peach. I love this one. I wore this one on my wedding day mixed with Tiffany & Co. to kind of give it some freshness. It's also so delicious mixed with, I have it over there, Miss Dior. I love mixing it with a floral because it gives such a nice feminine, clean floral scent to it. Just like a very nice feminine touch, which this one still smells feminine with the peach, but it's kind of smoky. It smells kind of like cinnamon and peaches with like, I don't know, some whiskey in there. Like, I don't know why I love boozy scents so much, but these two are fabulous and they are expensive, but in my opinion, they are worth it. Like if you are spending the money that these are the ones to get. Moving on, there are two foundations that I feel are 100% worth their price point, even though I think their price point can be a little ridiculous sometimes. Like sometimes when I tell people this is my favorite foundation, I'm like, I'm sorry, it's expensive, but it's what works for me, and I have not found anything as good for less. It is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I'm wearing it today. I wear it in pretty much every single video unless I am reviewing another foundation because it doesn't break me out. It looks skin-like and beautiful on the skin, and it's just so beautiful. Next foundation, I really enjoy this one. So the reason this one is not my ride or die over the Giorgio Armani one is because this one kind of breaks me out a little bit. There is just a slight fragrance to it that does that, but if you are not sensitive or you have no issues with breakouts with this one, just try a sample and see if you like it. But this foundation is gorgeous. It is like I would say a medium coverage. I feel like you can build it up though. It wears beautifully throughout the day. Like what it looks like when you first put it on is what it looks like at the end of the day. So I still keep this one around even though it does kind of break me out sometimes just because it is so freaking pretty, but I love this one. Onto concealer. So I purchased this one not too long ago, I would say like a couple months ago, and I love it. I don't know what took me so long. I think it was that I didn't want to fall in love with like a luxury concealer because I feel like I go through them fast, but this is something no one says about this. Like I feel like it is hardly ever mentioned. It bugs me because this is why I love it so much, is the size. Like let me show you in comparison. Love my e.l.f. one, right? This is e.l.f. in comparison. This is almost the size of a foundation bottle. So in most concealers, we'll see the ounces are 0.2 fluid ounces. In this one, there is 0.45, so 0.45 ounces in this. So you're getting double the amount of concealer that you normally get. So when you think about the price of it, it seems high, but I had no idea that this was bigger than most other concealers. So I love this one. It is amazing coverage. It lasts well, and it's just an awesome concealer, and I feel like it's such a good value. So powders we're moving on to. I love the Laura Mercier. This is such a good classic powder. I also love the Huda Beauty one. This is a good one. I just wish I would have gotten a slightly lighter shade. I love that it gives just a little extra touch of coverage. It looks so good when you bake it specifically. Like, I feel like that is when I get the most flawless under eye, is when I bake with this. And then another powder I love is this Fenty one. This is the one Rihanna used at this Super Bowl. It's just a really good powder. It's super matte. Like, when I don't want any shine showing through on camera, I use this with like a little powder puff, and it is fantastic. It also is talc free, so I really enjoy this one. Also, this kind of goes in with powders, blush, highlighter, and bronzer. So I'm just going to include it now before we transition to our next topic. But this is Hourglass. This palette is discontinued, but they have palettes like this all the time. It's absolutely worth it. This has highlighters, blushes, bronzers, and also finishing powders. So this gives you a really nice glow. Like, if you have dry skin and you don't like the way a matte powder looks, this is a really good one to just kind of like dust on top of your makeup to set it, but give it that glow so it doesn't take that away. If you're a makeup artist, if you've been looking for something that's like good for brides, like, this needs to be in your kit. This stuff is so good. I love, love, love Hourglass. And if I didn't have this one, I would be purchasing one of the ones they have now. But since I do have it, not going to be purchasing one at the moment, but I do love these palettes so much. They are so good and so worth the money. So moving on to blush, I have so many blush favorites. It's ridiculous. My blush collection is now overflowing in the drawer that it's in, and I've had to kick the bronzers out of the drawer. I've had to be like, get out, we have more blushes. So I feel like I've tried enough to say what the best ones are, so let's talk about them. Today, I'm actually wearing two different blushes because I wanted you guys to see and decide for yourselves which one you like best. We have Rare Beauty on this side. So these blushes are amazing. The one I'm wearing specifically is Bliss. I feel like it is the perfect nudie pink for me. I love it. I wear this one almost every day, like, really. Even though I have a ton of blushes, this is the one that I reach for probably the most in my collection right now. I may do a little powder on top, but this one I love. I also love Happy. This is a bright pink. And one I recently just got is Worth. I feel like it looks better when I'm more tan. It reminds me also a lot of like a matte version of the Fenty blush, which I do love. This is the blush that it reminds me of. This is the Fenty Kilowatt Ginger Bringe Moscow Mule. I feel like this is almost like a liquid matte, like a liquid satin version. I do like this as well. If you need a nice like coppery blush and you don't like pinks, that's a great option. Same with this one. The blush that I'm wearing on the other side of my cheek that I actually just tried out yesterday, but I know I like it already, is these Say blushes. These are so good. So the one I'm wearing is Rosy because I felt like it looked similar to Bliss. I like these because they have like a really nice dewy finish. I've noticed I don't love a shimmery liquid blush. I feel like it can just emphasize a little too much texture for me. But when it's dewy in the finish, like there's not shimmer, but there's just a tiny bit of shine to it because the product is dewy, it looks really nice and doesn't emphasize texture as much. If you have dry skin, or you just like a really glowy, dewy look like this, or mature skin, these Say ones are gonna be so good. Same with Rare Beauty though. Like, both of these are great options. I love both of these. Another blush I love that I truly feel that there's nothing like. I don't feel like there's anything like this, and that's why I feel okay recommending it, even though it's ridiculously expensive, is the Pat McGrath blush in the shade Cherish. It is a really bright pink, but there's just no other pink that I've found that is like this. I've tried to find one, and there's nothing similar. So this is hands down my favorite powder blush of all time, and I can say that with 100% confidence because this is just amazing. I love it. I want to purchase other shades, but I know that this is the best one because the minute I tried this on, I was like, this is kind of like everything I've been looking for in a pink blush that I've never been able to find. So Pat McGrath, this one is a winner. Other blushes I love are these Too Faced powder ones. I tried these both recently. This one I tried in comparison to the Dior Glow, and I liked this one a lot better, and it was also the better deal. So I really like this one. That one's so pretty. I also love this shade, which is a lot warmer of a pink in the shade Golden Hour. This one has shimmer to it, but it's really pretty. The shimmer in it is almost like a gold, so it comes across like a sunset on the cheek. I'm not wearing this one. I don't know why I'm like showing my blush as if it's going to tell you what's going on with it. But I love these two. This formula is really good, and I do think they're worth it. And the packaging is darling. Moving on to bronzers, this was one that took me by surprise and I thought was just so good, like just so amazing, where I felt like I hadn't tried anything like this. It's the Rare Beauty one in the shade Bright Side. This is my perfect bronzing shade. It's a nice cool toned bronze that just gives me a little bit of warmth but never leaves me looking orange, and it blends like butter. This is the creamiest bronzer you will ever find. I love this. I would dare say that this is probably one of the best bronzers, cream bronzers at least, that I've tried ever. Just so creamy, so beautiful, so nice, and the fact that it's in a stick makes it really easy to use and travel with, so it's an A+ for me. So another bronzer that I do really enjoy, especially if you are a natural girl, if you don't want a ton of pigment, if you feel like bronzers sometimes just look like they're too much, this Say Sunmelt bronzer is gonna be awesome. What I will say about this one is get a deeper shade than you think you need. Like this one looks like it would be too dark for me, but I'm wearing it and it doesn't look too dark at all. So I wore this one almost as a contour, and then I wore this one just a little higher up on my cheek. So up here and on my forehead is this, and it's just a really nice natural bronze that is a very easy cream product to use. So I do really love this Say one. If I'm picking between these two, I would pick the Rare Beauty one because there's just slightly more pigment. But for someone that's more natural and doesn't like the idea of a stick, I would do the Say one. For a powder bronzer, one that I think that is worth it, and I feel kind of bad for talking about it because it is expensive, is the Dior bronzer. So this is actually a tester that my friend gave me when she worked at Dior. She worked at the Dior counter. I worked at the Laura Mercier counter, so we would like give each other the stuff that had been discontinued. But this bronzer is incredible, and I have honestly thought about putting another one in my cart, even though this one isn't finished. I've hit pan, but it's not done by any means. But this one goes on top really nicely. It never moves the product underneath. It gives such a nice sun-kissed color to my skin. If you need a powder bronzer and you are looking for the best one, I love that this just gives the perfect bronze. I like that it gives a little bit of coverage, and I love how it blends on my skin. So moving on to highlighter, as I already said, the Hourglass ones are I'm always gonna recommend them. I think they're worth it 100%. And I say that because they are flattering on anybody of any age. Another one I like that I picked up recently is this Rare Beauty one in the shade Mesmerize, and I love it specifically mixed with blushes. So this is also a great option. I'm very curious to try their powder ones because I know people love them. They've just always been sold out when I've tried to get one, but this one is beautiful and I love it mixed in with the blushes. Eyeshadows, let's talk about them. For eyeshadow, I would say a really great brand that I love and I'm constantly impressed with whenever I pick up this palette is the Natasha Denona Bronze Palette. Now, I am someone that gravitates towards warm tones, but I can confidently say if you like a different color palette, these shadows are going to perform just as beautifully. The mattes are so blendable. I feel like it hardly takes any time to do my eyeshadow when I use these because they just blend so easily. Like you're not sitting there trying to pack on color or, you know, it's never patchy, it blends beautifully, and the colors in here are just scrumptious to me. Another one that is in the same price range is Huda Beauty. This one is the Mercury in Retrograde palette. It's such a fun palette. They have incredible pigment. I feel like this one just inspires me whenever I use it, and I also love how the shimmers perform in this one. So I would say that Huda is also a brand that is definitely worth getting when it comes to eyeshadows. So the next brand of eyeshadows that we're talking about is Pat McGrath. I always think Pat McGrath is worth it, especially on sale. I've purchased them both at full price and on sale. These are the two I have. They're just kind of nice, fun, neutral palettes. Like, they have a little pop of something. I just dropped that and didn't break, so there's another reason. These are like indestructible. Just kidding, probably not. But I love these two so much. They're both neutral palettes, but they're really fun. And these shimmers are just unmatched. So I found out recently that Pat McGrath makes these in Italy. If you didn't know, like, some of the best makeup products are made in Italy because they use really special methods of making the makeup in the creation process. So I just love these. I think they are such special palettes, and I'll never get rid of these even when they're expired, because they just hold such a special place in my heart, and I love them. They also have some smaller options for those that don't want to spend $125 on a palette, which I totally understand. I think if you are a makeup lover and you love eyeshadow, you should treat yourself to one of these, you know? Also, like I said before, Pat McGrath will have 30% off on their websites from time to time, and you can get 30% off on the Flip app as well. So other eyeshadow products I love, just real quick, are the Bobbi Brown eyeshadow sticks. I love them in the matte shades and also the shimmer shades. The matte shades blend like a dream. I also love using the shadow stick in the shade Taupe for my nose contour occasionally from time to time. They last forever. Like, somehow I've had these for like 2 or 3 years and they're just still holding on. Like, I still haven't run out. I don't know how that's possible, but they just make it so easy to do your makeup. I recommend these to my mom and my grandma and my aunts. Like, love them. I think they're so good, and they are so easy for eyeshadow. If you're not good at eyeshadow, check out some cream shadow sticks and thank me later. So for lip products, I just have a few items. So I would recommend the Rare Beauty Lip Oil Lip Stain. I think it's just such a cool product. I also really enjoy the Merit lip oils. They are more lightweight, so it's not like that thick, sticky feeling. And they have beautiful colors. The colors I have are Au Naturel, and this one is in the shade Sangria. They also came out with some new lip jellies. I'll be doing a whole video on that, so stay tuned. These are 2 glosses that I love. I love these formulas. They are just so nice. This is the Tower 28 lip gloss in the shade Pistachio, and it's the perfect nudie pink that I feel like looks flattering on absolutely anybody. Another brand I love is Kaja in their Gloss Shot formula. This one is so nice. Like, look at this. I'm already wearing lipstick, but I'll just show you the shine of this gloss. It is so pretty, and it feels amazing. I love the feel of these glosses. I will say these are pretty identical to me in how they feel. The Kaja one has a slight shimmer to it, and the Tower 28 one has more of a jelly look to it. The Kaja is just one I don't hear talked about a lot, and I wanted to give a good mention. For lipsticks, if you really want to splurge, YSL has some great ones. They are pricey, but as far as like high-end lipsticks go, I love them. They're great. They're really good. The other ones I have, I'm not sure if they're sold on Sephora yet, but they carry this brand. They're the Iconic London Melting Touch Lip Balms. These are fantastic. This was what I was wearing on my lips before the gloss, but my favorite shades are Love Language and Undone. These are like lipsticks that melt into like a nice gloss. So you can see there's that one. And then here is Undone in the nice nudie color. But they have such a beautiful reflective shine. I am someone that will always wear like a lipstick and a gloss. So these make it one nice step for me. And the shades are just they really did a really good job on the nudes. I'm probably just gonna get all the shades because this formula is fantastic. As far as eyeliners and mascaras, I don't really purchase high-end mascaras. I don't purchase high-end brow stuff really either. I prefer my e.l.f. brow pencil and my e.l.f. brow soap. And as far as liners go, just so you know, ColourPop sent me these. I've been using them recently and they are so creamy and just amazing, and they have all of these colors. I use the dark brown shade called Brew Haha, that's funny, and Sunnyvale. So I love these. The nude liner in this too is so good. Those are all the products that I would recommend from the Sephora sale. I know this video is so long, so thank you for bearing with me, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what things you are purchasing from the Sephora sale. I love hearing other people's makeup favorites. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye!